Director of Membership Services Katie Weber talked with Harvard head coach Ted Minnis about his coaching personality, experiences, and the Harvard men's and women's water polo program.
So can you go into some detail about how to run a successful counterattack and what types of drills and skills do you work on to kind of strengthen that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that we always talk about with our counter is, you want to play fast and you want to put that pressure, and it starts in that. I always talk about breaking the pool up into 3 sections. So that first 10-meter section, when you're playing defense, that's really where your counter is going to start. That's where you create what your advantage is going to be, and that's where you really get them on their heels with those first few explosive strokes and cutoffs that you're going to make. And then we talk about identifying in that middle 10, what is your advantage and how we're going to attack it, and then attacking it. For us, I think the biggest thing is like we have no problem attacking the pool anywhere. You got teams that are going to throw the ball out to the right. We'll throw it out right, we'll throw it out left, we'll put it up the middle. It doesn't really matter to us. We just want to be pushing the ball. We want to stretch the pool to the 2-meter line. I think that's the biggest key is you've got to make the pool the whole 25 meters and make that team have to play defense. When you pull out and you stop short, you're making it easy for them to defend that counter. And then spacing. We talk a lot about our spacing, what spacing we want to get in specific, 2-on-1, 1-on-nobodies, 3-on-2s, stuff like that. And then, we really work on 4-on-3 counters and down, because that's going to be kind of the main numbers you're going to see, is a 4-on-3, a 3-on-2 counter, and how we want to attack those.
Can you tell me anything about some drills that you use maybe for like 1-on-nobody shooting?
So when we have our counter day, which the first thing I always talk about as a former goalie and a goalie coach is I tell my goalies this is not a day for them to be successful. So we start off, we put time on the clock, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock, we'll put 3 goals in, and we have them go around in a circle, swimming with the ball and shooting 1-on-nobodies. And then we'll add 5 minutes on the clock again when that's over, go 1-on-nobodies with a trailer. And then we just kind of build it all the way up, and we'll build it up to a 6-on-5 counter, and then we'll do some broken down half-court drills, really focused on, getting out into transition and anticipation. Everything we do is on a 1-way a lot of the times or a 3-way, so we're talking about finishing off on that counter. It's really part of what we talk about all the time is that transition. It starts on the defensive end, goes into transition, get a goal, come back, get another stop.
Can you give us some tips on wet shots versus dry shots on the counterattack?
I love the wet shot. I love shooting it off the water, but it's an art that has gone away. So now I don't even really teach it as much anymore. As we teach like just inside water shooting, getting that defender on your back, creating as much width with your body so that you're able to keep them off of the ball, getting up on your legs. And we talk a lot about like you don't have to shoot the ball really hard to score. You just have to beat the goalie. And how are you going to beat the goalie? So we do a lot of that inside water shooting, getting the goalie to kind of have to move. Finishing in one of the 5 holes, 2 up high, 2 low, and 1 over the head. So those are the things that we talk about on finishing.
Great. Can you give me 3 keys to a successful defense?
For me, the first thing is your awareness. You have to be aware of where the ball is. You have to be aware of what's going on around you. You have to be aware of where your person is. I think the next thing is being up in the lanes and forcing that that offensive player to turn their back from the goal and put that ball on the water. I think if the ball's on the water and their back's to the goal, they're not a threat anymore, and we'll take that. If they pick the ball up and throw it over their head and score, that's on our goalie, that's not on our defense. And then the goalie's got an issue then. And then I think communication is huge. And I think that's something that we talk about constantly with our kids is the more communication, the better. I say it to them all the time. I do not care if everybody in the world knows what we're doing, as long as those 7 players in the pool are on the same page and working as one unit, we're going to be successful. And so I think those are the 3 main things we stress on the defensive end.
Special thanks to Harvard Athletics for helping to provide images and footage.